And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak to real life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon to be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. And if you think somebody actually might find this interesting, go ahead and share it with them. There's a button below which says share and sort of an arrow. It's sort of circular. You hit that, and then you can share it with whoever you might think would be interested in this. I want to first take this moment to apologize. My strong narrator type voice is not on display today. I pretty much lost my voice, and I might cough my way through this, but the people have spoken, and the people want to hear from me. So go ahead and give you the content that you want to know. So I had a meeting earlier with somebody who said, they asked, I get this question all the time, it's regarding inheritance. How should we leave money to our children? We have one child who is very, very successful financially. And we have a few other children who are average. We've got one child who's a teacher, doesn't do so well. What should we do? Should we, in our will, give more money to those who have less, or should we make it equal? So, I wrote a book probably a decade ago, which was published by McGraw-Hill called The Retirement GPS. In that, I gave a couple of different examples of couples and how they were going to treat their money going forward. Couple number one basically said, well, we took care of our kids and now they're out of the house and it's our money and we're going to race our money to the grave, right? We're going to spend every last penny that we're able to, and whatever's left is left, but we're going to enjoy it. Option number two was a couple who said, yeah, well, you know what? We understand we want to help our kids a little bit now. First, we want to take care of ourselves, make sure that we have more than enough money to live off of it, so that we can, if we make it to 120, we'll have all that money. And most of the money, will go to our kids posthumously. Couple number three said, yeah, well, we also want to make sure we want to take care of ourselves. But it, A, will give us much more joy. And B, it will be much more benefit to our children when they're younger and they've got young families of their own. So we'd like to give them more money now. And, whatever they inherit, but we'd really like to help them now when they could really use it. And when we can see the benefit and the joy of actually helping out our children and our grandchildren. So those are the sort of the three options. I think most of my clients at least go for option number 2 and 3, where they do one way or another want to help the next generation. They want to leave a legacy. They tend not to just say, oh, the hell with it. We took care of our kids until they were 18, and that's our obligation, and we're just going to blow through the money. I personally don't see that option very much. I know it's out there. My client base doesn't generally subscribe to that point of view. So the question is then, what do you do when you have this sort of, where your children are all at different points financially? What I tend to tell people is, if you want to make it up, you want to help out your child who's struggling financially, do it while you're alive. Pay for braces for the kids, maybe pay for extracurricular activities, give them a little bit of money if they're really, really, really struggling. And, your children who are doing much, much better, don't forget about them. You can give them gifts along the way as well, but try and, you can limit that because they don't need as much. But, if you want to emphasize giving to the children not doing quite as well, I think during your lifetime is the time to do it. I'm a firm believer. I'm very passionate about this. It's not going to come out now because it's hard for me to talk. But I'm very passionate that in your will, you should leave the equal amount of money to each one of your children. I have seen countless times, and I've spoken with countless estate planners. They all recommend the same thing, okay? In your will, leave the same amount of money to each one of your children. Why? Because, everybody says to me, well, my kids are great. They won't fight. They won't fight. I see in my office, I tell this people all the time, when it comes to money, the worst part of people's personalities and character come out. And even the best of families, right? The courts, right? The probate courts are full of the best of families, the best children, the children who get along the best, challenging the probate, challenging the will. It happens all the time. The courts are filled with these people, right? So your kids, don't just think because they're your kids, they're going to get along. It just doesn't work that way. Not only that, but what I find is all of the baggage, all of the dirty laundry, all the garbage that the children carried all of these years sort of works its way through when it comes time to deal with the will and the estate. What's that mean? It means that if mom gave Joe an extra couple bucks when he was 12, and Carol always resented him for that, she's, oh, mom always liked you more, that is going to be magnified at the end of the day. And if you leave Joe more money than you leave Carol, forget it. They're not going to talk to each other again. And they're going to end up resenting you in the first place, right? You want this money to be your legacy. You want to help out the people. You might want them to carry on what your ideas were in terms of philanthropy or what have you. That's a different question, but this is your legacy. And you want your legacy to be a cause of friction and hate and argument amongst your siblings, your children. It makes no sense. And it happens that way. Trust me that it happens that way. Right? Everybody will understand, and you can even talk to them and saying, you know, Joe, Carol is really, really struggling, and you sold your startup to Microsoft for $700 million, okay? Everybody will understand if you give her a little bit more money to make ends meet, because she chose, you know, a profession, she's a social worker. I'm not attacking anybody, but just doesn't make the same amount of money. So everybody will understand that. But when it comes to leaving money, it's not even the money about the will. A lot of times it's not the money. The money is secondary. Everybody wants the money, but it's secondary. It's about the relationship that you had with your child, and it's about the relationship the child had with each other. It's very, very emotional. There's a lot that goes into it. And if you want it to be good and you want your good kids to stay cohesive and stay together, the best thing that you can do is leave them equal amounts of money. If you want discord, strife, legal fees, children never to speak to each other again, believe me, it happens all the time, then leave equal amounts. Try and give, you know, give more money to those who have less and give less money to those who have more. If that's what you think is good. But trust me, from somebody who's got decades of experience in this, and I've spoken to many estate planners, all of us think it's a terrible idea, right? You want to help out, again, you want to help out those with less, do it while you're alive. You can even have a conversation with your kids, tell them you're going to do this. But when it comes time to the will, for crying out loud, please listen to me. Don't make a mistake. Leave each child an equal amount of money. If they amongst themselves want to, you know, change the amounts, the one who's sold his company to Microsoft, if he wants to give more money to his sister as a social worker, go ahead. That's between them. Okay? You don't get involved. You just give each one a third, or a quarter, depending on how many kids you have, right? Everybody gets it equal. And that way, I can assure you, there will be much more harmony, much more love, and your legacy and what they think of you will be just all the much better, okay, if you do this. And if you try and get too cute, too smart, it's going to come back and bite you, because they're going to have resentful feelings forever towards you. You can't explain yourself anymore. It's over, right? You passed. Okay, they're going to resent you, and they're going to resent each other. And that is so unfortunate, right? Why would you want to set up a system where they're going to think bad of you forever, as long as they're alive, and not get along with each other? That's the opposite of what you want, right? You want ultimately the inheritance to be a blessing, a financial blessing, and a way for your children to carry on your mission, okay? So be smart. Leave each child the same amount of money. You've been tuning into the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak about your life money and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please hit the subscribe button to subscribe to the podcast. And if you think somebody might find this of interest, go ahead and share it with them as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.